So let's compare reincarnation technology to alien abduction technology, which from what I can tell is pretty much the same thing. And not only that, but scientists have actually duplicated a major part of that technology down here on Earth today, which I'll get into in a little bit. But first thing, let's talk about what happens during an abduction. People are transported out of their homes or cars and taken to a UFO where they're medically examined and genetics are harvested or whatever. And then afterwards, and this is a key element, they're mind wiped and sent back down to their home or car or wherever. And during an abduction, our normal rules of physics just don't apply, or physics gets suspended somehow. And this is exactly what happens during a reincarnation. After we die, we get transported somewhere with the light. And to me, the light is just a big transport system, or however you want to think of that. It's taking us someplace. And then we get a big song and dance and get convinced to come back down here for whatever reason. But before that happens, here we go again with the mind-wiping technology. And the only difference I can see is that in an abduction, you don't have a choice. You're kidnapped, mind-wiped, and then sent back, all without your consent. In reincarnation, we apparently do have a choice. But for whatever reason, most of us just voluntarily come back down here time after time after time. And to me, that's because of emotional manipulation and just outright lies. They're not giving us all the information about this planet or what they're really up to or even who they are. But in both cases, our normal rules of physics don't apply. In the abduction scenario, aliens can walk through walls. They can transport you out of your home or car without bothering to open the doors. Or they can just beam you up aboard a spaceship. Which is exactly what happens in a reincarnation. We can walk through walls or fly up to the ceiling. And if we try to interact with someone down here, they can't see us. If we try to hug somebody or grab them or whatever, our arms will go right through them. So once again, our normal physics get canceled in both events. And the other major thing is you're taken to an environment where they have control. They're in charge of whatever is going on. And then finally, surprise, surprise, the big mind wipe before we get sent back. And very few people remember their past lives, or it's just a limited memory. And in an abduction, most people just think they're missing some time. Our memories are still there, but we have to do something special to access them, like past life regression or hypnotic regression, to find out what happened. Which to me is so let's talk about this mind-wiping technology. And I hate to say it, but this is exactly like the neuralizer in the Men in Black movies.
This is called a neuralizer. It's a gift from some friends from out of town. This red eye here will isolate the electronic impulses in your brains, and more specifically the ones for memory.
What in the hell is going on?
Excellent question. And the answer you're looking for lies right here.
Who are you? Really?
Really? I am just a figment of your imagination. Damn, what a gullible breed. Damn, what a gullible breed.
And I love Kay's line there. What a gullible breed. Or are we just being lied to by the experts? And if you think a neuralizer is just science fiction, we've already created a neuralizer down here. Scientists can now wipe out specific memories from mice. So not only is a mind wipe possible, but we know how to do it. And just like the fictional neuralizer, it works from a light technology, just how Kay described it. And if we're already making neuralizers down here today, what technology does an advanced alien species have? And would we consider that magic or an advanced technology if we weren't aware of it? And just a great big segue here. I've heard that the aliens or the cabal or whatever you want to call them have to warn us about what they're doing. Apparently, they have some rule about that. And I think I know where this rule comes from, because if you're going to do something to a spirit or a soul, you have to get them to agree. In other words, they can't do anything to you unless they have your consent. Or maybe at the very least, they have to warn you about whatever it is they're up to. And apparently they do that through movies or other mass media. Anyway, for me, in the abduction scenario, the aliens are using a portable neuralizer, and during a reincarnation, they're using a big neuralizer or something along those lines. And in both cases, we're dealing with technology that creates a great big secret. And I have a hard time believing that that's for my benefit. Secrets are just like lies, and they're never healthy. And that goes for everything from dysfunctional family relationships to dysfunctional governments, the military-industrial complex, and everything in between. All the control mechanisms we see around us, it's all done in the shadows and in the dark and in secret, including spying on every citizen in the world. They don't want us to know what they're up to. I mean, if the ETs are just benign spiritual beings helping us out, what's the problem? Why can't they just tell us what they're doing? Why do I need to be mind wiped after I supposedly learn all their lessons? Is there any school out there where you're supposed to forget what you've learned? That would seem to be counterproductive, wouldn't it? It would be like going to class and learning some basic math one day, but tomorrow you won't remember it, and then we'll move on to algebra. Where's the progress? So just look around at the world today. Where's the human progress? We're not evolving, we're devolving. And all of this might sound really horrible, but it's not all bad news. Knowledge is power. The truth, as they say, shall set you free. Because, as it turns out, there's an escape clause. We're not kept here against our will. We come down here voluntarily, if you can imagine that. We have to agree to be here, and there's no other way for them to get you into a human body other than through your voluntary consent. And so the big pregnant question for me is this: how can they persuade us to come down here time and time again? And the answer to that is it all depends on your belief system. For example, you die and you meet God the Father or Jesus Christ or whoever, and he says you need to get back into a body to learn something, or to help with your children, or your family, or whatever else they can tell you. And they will tell you whatever bullshit story is necessary to get you back. And they know exactly what to say because they can read you like a book. Your entire existence is available to them. All your past lives, your psychological makeup, everything about you. And they're kind of like the army recruiters. They're persistent as fuck. And they don't take no for an answer. And apparently, you and I fell for it again because here we are. And when you step back and look at this reincarnation system, I really can't say enough about it. It is so well designed and so intricately detailed and just so finely tuned to us human beings. They understand us at a level that makes our best psychiatrists look like a bunch of pinheads. And all of this operates off of our belief system. Our beliefs from this lifetime become the method of persuasion for our next reincarnation. And that could be any number of human motivators. It could be religious. Loves me some Jesus and I'll do anything he tells me. Or they'll use something else like guilt or shame or a desire to help people or help your kids or whatever it is. And it's all based on our human emotions, which coincidentally humans are genetically altered to be highly emotional creatures. So just think about that. And just so we don't catch on to all this bullshit lifetime after lifetime, before we incarnate down here, we get our memories wiped. We're down here like some drunk amnesiacs who have no idea who they are or how they got here. You're just plopped down into this life. So the reincarnation system is brilliant, and it does exactly what it was designed to do. I know a lady who reincarnated back down here as her daughter's child. In other words, she was actually the dead grandmother of who she is in this lifetime. And she came down here to help her daughter, which in this lifetime is going to be her mother. But here's the problem with all that. Her life as a grandmother was incredibly traumatic. So now she's in an incarnation down here with all that unresolved trauma from that past life. And all she has is this idea to help her mother, which she did. But all those unresolved past life generational traumas are entirely messing up her life in the here and now. So how is she supposed to figure that out? Let alone do something about it? And a lot of our problems in this life are generational. And then we go through childhood and get some more bullshit and trauma on top of that. Because everybody down here is a wounded human being in one way or another. And our society and our schools are sick. And kids are energetic sponges and they just suck this up. And none of that energy just goes away. It becomes part of who we are. And it doesn't get resolved from dying or reincarnation or going to heaven or getting forgiven by whoever. It's like the law of conservation. Our energetic signature doesn't move until some force moves it.